Alright, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in once again to the Black Box Podcast. BBOR, Black Box Online Radio. Now, there's been some recent talk about something on Real Time with Bill Maher, a place where I normally don't go to, searching for content, about the possibility of Al Franken running for the Democratic nominee, to be the Democratic nominee for 2020. On the absolute very first political upload that I did on this channel, I mentioned something about how Al Franken should run for president because he could capitalize on his background as a comedian. And you know, it's just so fashionable these days for comedians to get political. Jon Stewart really did revolutionize the industry. Not to mention, Jon Stewart brought it into the mainstream, but we had political comedians way before him, whether it was George Carlin or Bill Hicks. But the whole point is, Al Franken was somebody who was also the most articulate voice of the center-left platform. He wasn't, completely so far extreme. Even to someone of Bernie Sanders, Al Franken is more centered because, he just doesn't go to the greater lengths to talk about things like democratic socialism. However, Al Franken was famously disgraced in a sexual allegation scandal. So, what should the Democrats do? Well, Bill Maher brought it up again about having the notion of Al Franken running for president. I said it once and I'll say it again. I really think that it is something that is almost unfortunate for the Democratic Party. I am not a Democrat myself. I will not be voting in the primary for them. But they have to answer the question. It's this constant dichotomy that we're facing. Do you want a candidate you agree with, or do you want a candidate that can win? Whether you like him or not, Al Franken is pretty good at articulating the center-left platform. He's very good at speaking up for the democratic issues. If you think that every congressperson is articulate, they are not. Look at Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia, who can't even remember what an island is. Or look at all the people that Sacha Baron Cohen humiliated on Who is America. Not every congressperson is articulate. Not every congressperson has comedic timing. And not every congressperson, or senator in Al Franken's case, can defeat Donald Trump. So, this is this constant thing that the Democrats are going to be dealing with. Who can they put up that can not only represent their platform and can win? And purely from a strategy perspective, I would have said that he was their guy. Now, Al Franken, prior to his sexual allegation scandal, openly said that he was not interested in running. And part of me actually thought that the reason for that was that there was a high chance he would actually win, not the nomination, but the entire presidency, because he's not so extreme that it's going to turn off middle ground voters. But he's also very well known throughout the party. Almost everyone in America knows his name. And as I mentioned, he has the ability to present information from an argumentative standpoint with a comedic twist, which can generate enormous amounts of enthusiasm for the audience. And that's the way we have to look at this. Everybody knows running for the Senate and running for Congress is showmanship. Does everybody who is in our elected office actually believe every single word that they're saying? No, they lie to us all the time. Politicians lie. You ever heard that before? Am I the first one to tell you that? No, I don't think so. So, should Al Franken run? Would he actually stand a chance? It's going to be pretty hard to survive not only going through a scandal, but Al Franken chose to resign. And not everyone who is faced with allegations resigns. Maybe you can think of a name or two. But he was faced with, allegations, which he did admit to. It's more than just someone has accused him. He did admit to whatever they were accusing him of, but then he resigned. Would he be able to rebound from that? I'm not quite so sure. On the other hand, I think that he is going to be very good with the microphone. He'd be very good at energizing crowds. And, he has a way to bring a sort of enthusiasm to the left that they are in dire need of. if you think that Bernie Sanders is bringing enthusiasm to the left, I'd say that a lot of that is done for him. I mean, the way that Bernie Sanders has energized the left, he just was like the popular alternative. You know, it's like Coke versus Diet Coke, and you're on a diet. Hey, well, that matches up. Yeah, you know, it's just like Bernie was not really promoting something that a lot of people were interested in, you know, prior to the election cycle. And by that, I mean democratic socialism. Yeah, people talked about free health care. Yeah, people talked about wanting to have immigration reform. But not in the Bernie Sanders way. No. They talked about it more in an Al Franken way, from a more center-left perspective. And, you know, Al Franken has also been very, very vocal about civil rights. And I was watching him, you know, in a documentary on the Civil Rights Act. And he was just like, he was very, very good at articulating about the reasons to move forward with the whole sort of left-wing liberal agenda associated with the Civil Rights Act. I don't really agree with him, but he had the way of presenting it to the general public. He had a way of conveying the message in a way that people can understand, and I think part of that stems from his work in the past as an entertainer. But, you know, if it weren't for this scandal, I would say that he would be their guy. You know, he is more than a one-term senator. He was in his second term when he resigned. He has some familiarity with politics. He is very good at fundraising. He would destroy Donald Trump in a debate because, you know, the only thing that Donald Trump could do in a debate against Al Franken would be just to shout over him and, you know, just like try and undercut him. But still, that's not going to win you the presidency. So that's my very brief upload on the possibility of Al Franken running for president in 2020. I was really just glad to hear that somebody was expressing the exact same viewpoint that I said, you know, on my very first political upload more than a year ago on this channel. I think the field has changed. Bill Maher was calling for the disgraced comedian Al Franken to run for president, but I'd say it's unlikely now. However, if just a few things had been different, he would have been the guy for the Democrats. Somebody also brought up the possibility that if the Democrats choose somebody too far to the left, they have no chance of winning, and they're most likely going to choose somebody too far to the left. That I can't say, or I can't confirm or deny that. You know, it's like, because I don't really find that a super convincing argument. You know, just, well, they're trying to say you won't be able to pull the middle ground voters, but not necessarily. What if, you know, we have 18 months till the general? A scandal could break out, problems, you know, economically could happen. What's the famous Bill Clinton line associated with, "It's the economy, stupid"? Although I don't like that. That's too harsh. We should say something, "It's the economy," obviously. That's a much more palatable way of putting it. Well, you've heard my very small spiel on the possibility of Al Franken running for president in 2020. That's all for me now. What do you think? If you have anything to say, please drop a comment below, and until next time.